This is Before 30.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is George and this is Before 30. It's a platform where we feature the young, the vibrant and the amazingly talented Nigerians who are doing well in their chosen fields, career and profession. Of course, our aim is to inspire all youths out there to do beyond themselves. There's so much you can do. Your dreams are valid. Welcome to the show. Okay, before I let you know who I'm going to be talking to today, I'll go on a quick break, and when I return, the show continues.
This is Before 30.
Welcome back, guys. It's Before 30. Please, if you haven't subscribed, I beg you, subscribe to this channel, like, share, tell your friends to tell their friends that there's a show on YouTube called Before 30. Okay, today I'm going to be talking to a young and vibrant Nigerian. He was recently awarded a first-class honors in mechanical engineering, and he graduated top number 1% in the Faculty of Engineering and Technology from the University of Ilorin. His name is Adesiji Adedire. You would agree with me that you don't get such without diligence and so much hard work. We'll be talking to Adesiji Adedire today. Of course, we were not able to, meet with him in person, but we figured a way to talk to him, and it was interesting. So guys, stay tuned because the show continues in a moment with Adesiji Adedire.
This is Before 30.
My name is Adesiji Adedire Daniel. I recently graduated from the University of Ilorin, finished with a first class in mechanical engineering, and while I was in school I specialized in production engineering. I have a passion for manufacturing robotics. So I feel really excited, and for me it's one of the many proofs that dreams do come true. I do not just see it as an achievement, because it's the end of a phase and it's the beginning of another phase that would even require more diligence. Well, like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, and it all began with a step. It all began with the step of deciding I was going to do well in school. I wasn't just going to be an average student. I wasn't just going to follow the crowd. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be that symbol of excellence. And right from the onset, as I stepped into school, that was one of the things I determined in my heart, and it really affected a lot of things about me. The kinds of friends that I keep, the kind of habits that I engaged in, my routine, and there are a lot of steps involved in the whole process, but I can trace my success to three things: diligence, humility, and grace. And like they say, if you want your cake to taste like the other person's cake, then you could use their recipe. And for me, these were three things that really worked. I ensured I was diligent in reading, as at when due, and not overloading myself, trying to rush things through, maybe when exams are approaching, so that I don't put myself under undue pressure. Humility. Once I realized that there's someone, even if the person in terms of academic standards is way lower than me, and I know that this person understands something that I do not understand, I've never felt belittled to go approach the person and how the person puts me through. And grace. This is really key for me, because I believe the race is not to the swift. There's several people who were even more diligent, who engage some of the principles that would allow them to do well in school. Yes, this was a target I'd already set for myself right from when I entered into school, which I mentioned earlier. Even though what I had in mind was not exactly first class while I stepped into school, but then I remember my first day in school in the university. I was looking lost. We called this place walkway. This is where students get to interact, get to buy stuff. And I was walking towards that area and I was looking lost, and someone called me and offered to help me, showed me around, asked for my timetable, told me this is where you have this lecture, where you need to get this is where you go to. It was not even a student of my faculty, and he encouraged me, told me he knows I can do well, I should just put in my best and all of that. And as we're rounding up the conversation, someone passed by and he greeted the person in a familiar way. And when the person left, told me, he said, oh, the guy that just passed is the scholar of my department, which means he's on the first class. I'm the best student in my department. And I'm like, oh wow, because it didn't look like a first class student really. It was looking that was the mindset I had. It was looking good. It was having this earpiece on, listening to music, just bounced off, and I'm like, okay, that means I don't have to look like a bookworm. I don't have to look scruffy like I've been reading for days or for weeks. And that really changed my perspective. And I'm like, okay, if this person can achieve this, then I am not going to have anything short of a first class. And that was the day I set that target. No, there was never a time I had doubt. There was never a time I had doubt, even though there were challenges at different stages, but I still made sure my faith and my conviction was still really high. Yes, I like the fact that you called them challenges and not problems, because at the end of the day, by the time you surmount these challenges, it makes you a better person. And yes, there were challenges. There were challenges during the way, and one that I can remember vividly is being able to manage different aspects of life, because I didn't just engage in academics. I was also involved in other things. And the way the Nigerian system is, if you're not careful, because schooling itself is a bit engaging, especially some kinds of school is a bit engaging where but generally school is really engaging, and not just even in this part of the world, but because of some of the challenges that we have in the educational system, there are some things we get to face that is peculiar to just us, and generally we get to students experience more stress because we lack certain facilities. I remember then in school, challenges like even transportation in and out of school, and some of these things obviously would limit a student's productivity. So, personally for me, being able to balance, these different aspects of life. I remember while I was in school, I was also still doing business. I was into graphics design, and I was using it to get little change in. I was also active in my church. I was active in my fellowship. I was also part of some student organization where I also volunteered. So being able to balance all of that, and then schooling itself is even stressful without having some of those responsibilities on you. But at the end of the day, I realized it made me a better person, because the truth is in life, or in real life, that's I call real life now life after school. You get to engage in so many things, and your ability to manage different aspects of life effectively is what makes you that complete and total man. That's one challenge. For me, another challenge is an offshoot of what I talked about previously, and the rigors of reading, or the demand. Sometimes it could be overwhelming when you have so much on you and you're trying to catch up. And this is why I realized that as individuals, you should just know what works for you. For some people, they really can still cope with crash reading, even though I would not advise this for anybody. But then I had to know what worked for me, and I engaged in that. I didn't use another person's reading method as my own yardstick. So this really helped me. And personally, I believe school is not just to teach you to be book smart or to be book intelligent. You also have to be able to imply some of these things that have been taught in school. And there are certain things that, for example, the lecturer gives a textbook to read. It can be overwhelming, like, how do I finish this textbook? Maybe coupled with other notes for this particular course. It can be overwhelming, but then being able to also listen carefully in the lecturer's class, some of the things he's paying so much attention to, and now inferring from that and being able to predict, or yes, let me use the word predict, what would come out from the exam is also part of life skills, really. And some of those things were what I did, especially in cases that covering so much can be overwhelming, or even sometimes somewhat impossible in reality. And I think that's also one challenge I had to face while I was in school. But like I mentioned earlier, challenges are supposed to make us better, especially when you surmount them. This is a very key question, because if you are not inspired, you would expire. And in my little time in school, this is one thing that I noticed affected a lot of students that were doing well in the beginning. You see students who started up with the first class maybe in their first year, and in their fifth year in school, maybe it's a 5-year course, you realize they're only 2-2. And I've seen that happen to a couple of people that I know personally. And you ask yourself, what happened over time? And by the time you engage them in conversations, you realize they lost that drive, they lost the inspiration at some point. And the way it works, it's a very gradual process where you don't know when you've deviated so much from where you started from. How did I stay inspired, and what was my motivation? Well, I realized from the beginning that being inspired was really key, because if you're not even inspired to do well in school, reading won't interest you. And that's why you see some people that are so passionate about reading. It's not because, some of them, it's not because they are bookworms, but by the time you engage with them closely, you realize that maybe they have a friend who also reads and that drives them, or maybe they have a particular senior they are looking up to. So it's very important to be inspired. So what I did was to have friends around me who also had similar passion of doing excellently well in school, and I surrounded myself with those friends. Even though academic excellence was not the only criteria of picking my friends, but I still ensured I had friends around me who were doing well academically, so that it was going to inspire me. And I had four friends that we usually read together. 3 of us finished with the first class in the same department, and the 4th person finished with a strong 2-1. In a while, the department had not produced that number of first class. There were 4 first class students that the department produced, and 3 out of the 4 were friends who read together. And that's to show you how important association is. Who you follow determines what follows you. And association is really important, and that would even also determine how inspired or how motivated you are, because you can't be around people who do not value school, who do not value education, and you want to keep being inspired. It's going to be difficult. No, Nigerian youths are not lazy. You can find a certain percentage could be tagged lazy, but when you look at the majority, you can't conclude that Nigerian youths are lazy. There are so many amazing people out there doing awesome things, and apart from the ones or the few we haven't seen, there are so much more potentials that we've not even seen, we've not even heard of, and that's because we do not have so much of an enabling environment here to allow some of those potentials to come to fruition or to come to limelight. So Nigerian youths are not in any way lazy, in my opinion. Not lazy. We're not lazy. Nigeria's educational system we still have a lot of work to do, really. We are not doing badly. That's to encourage ourselves, but we still have a lot of work to do. In terms of our curriculum, in terms of structures, learning aids, facilities. For example, I strongly believe our curriculum is archaic. Fine, not everything, because for example, when it comes to sciences, some of the principles in physics 40, 100 years, 200 years ago has not changed. So there's really no point trying to take that out and bringing in something new, because in that area there's nothing new. But when it comes to application of those courses, when it comes to application of those principles, and I'm sure this cuts across every other field, we should, the educational system should be able to liaise with those in the industry, and they should give us, problems they are facing currently, the current problems they are facing, the current situation, and we should build our curriculum based on that, such that when graduates are coming out of school and they get incorporated into different sectors, they can easily flow with the rhythm and even profile current solutions, and not even solutions that are just limited to this country, but global solutions. So I believe our schools should partner with those in the industry to help revamp our curriculum, so that we can be more relevant and be more current when it comes to solving global problems. In terms of my career goal, one key aspect of modern technology is robotics, and right now, with the age we are going into, it presents vast possibilities of scientific research. So I desire to take up an exciting position in the industry, where I can do independent research and development work and create an indelible impact in the field of robotics, causing transformative impact in our economy, in our industries, and in the lives of every individual, creating intelligent and autonomous systems, making life better. The God factor. I call God G-O-D, grace on duty, and I mentioned this earlier. I said the three things that I consider important in my journey: diligence, humility, and grace. The God factor is what I call grace on duty, because in life I've come to realize that the fastest runner does not always win the race, and the strongest man does not always win the fight. But time and chance happen to us all. It's by God's grace and His favor, and this is I believe God's grace is a multiplier's effect. When you've done that which you can do, and you just roll it over to God. And this is one thing I always do not take lightly, because I believe we are all limited as individuals. There's a limit to which you can do your own part. But with God's grace, He can take you to heights unimaginable. And like my favorite scripture, that says, do your best, prepare for the worst, and trust God to bring victory. This means you put in your best, you should be diligent, you should be hardworking, and do your own part. But don't forget to trust God to bring victory at the end of the day. Oh, words of advice to Nigerian youth. I'm also a youth. Well, words of advice to those who are in school first, or those who are about to enter school. My advice to you would be to give it your best. Whatever your hands find to do it well. There are a lot of things flying around. School is calm. It's not worth it. Nigerian system of education is completely flawed. Don't allow all of that to affect your drive in pursuing excellence, academic excellence. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it at the end of the day and not have it. So, and then don't just limit education, or don't just limit education to what you are being taught in school and then you've been able to directly apply it. Going to school is way more than that. Education is to equip you to open your mind up to possibilities and to help you think in a certain way, that would help boost your productivity, help you understand certain life principles, help you develop certain virtues. So don't see school as just the YDX. School is more than that. Education instills discipline. Education would bring out certain virtues in you, like diligence, like tenacity. So see education, beyond you learning a theorem in school or learning a theory in school. Education is way more than that. And give it your best, really. And at the end of the day, trust me, you would have so many reasons to be grateful why you gave school your best. And to Nigerian youths, I want you to know that a better Nigeria is coming, really. A better Nigeria is coming. And it's our responsibility to help create that Nigeria that we want. I understand that the new trend is to japa, is to leave the country. In itself is not completely bad, because people have valid reasons and the reasons are actually valid. But then know that it's not foreigners that will help come and build the walls that are broken. We will still need to come back and fix the walls. So my admonition to Nigerian youth is for us to come together as one and help build the Nigeria that we want. And let's keep on being diligent. We are not lazy. We are hardworking Nigerian youths, and we don't have to cut corners. We don't have to do unscrupulous things. Let's stick to what is right, despite and in spite this system that might not look so encouraging. But let's keep on doing what is right, and let's build that Nigeria that we want. Thank you.
This is Before That.
Wow. Welcome back, guys. That was an eye-opener. If you are an undergraduate who watched this, I beg you, you need to put in so much work to your studies. It takes diligence, it takes hard work, it takes a whole lot to, come out tops in your class, and it's achievable. If he did it, you can do it. A lot of people are doing it, so you too can do it, guys. All right, so this is a platform where we inspire you, and I believe that you have been inspired today. I've been inspired by Adesiji Adedire. I'm not an undergraduate at this moment. I'm done with that. But in all my endeavors, in all that I do, even in this Before 30, I need to add some diligence, some dedication, and some hard work to to make it better. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. Please subscribe, share, tell your friends to tell their friends. It's Before 30 on YouTube, and I bet you it gets better, guys. It gets better. Till I see you again next time, thank you for staying with me. I'm George, and I'm signing out.